Well, hello there and welcome. You are listening to the Kindness Matters podcast, and I am your host, Mike Rathbun. What is this podcast all about? It's about kindness. It's a pushback against everything negative that we see in the news and on social media today, and it's a way to highlight people, organizations that are simply striving to make their little corner of the world a little better place. If you want to join in on the conversation, feel free. Go ahead and follow us on all of your social media feeds. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're even on LinkedIn under Mike Rathbun. Check us out. And in the meantime, so sit back, relax, enjoy, and we'll get into the Kindness Matters podcast. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. I am your host, Mike Rathbun, and in case you missed it from the intro, you're listening to the Kindness Matters podcast. I am so happy that you made a conscious choice to spend 30 minutes of your day listening to this podcast, and I appreciate it. I thank you. You know what? I appreciate it more if you told your friends and neighbors what an outstanding podcast this is. And you know what? I'm not beneath it. I'll lie. If you want to lie about it and say it's the best podcast you ever heard, I'm okay with that. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I have got such a fantastic show for you today. A lot of my guests on this podcast tend to be presidents, directors, life coaches, CEOs, or heads of nonprofits, that kind of thing. But my guest today is such a refreshing change from all of that. He is a fellow podcaster and works with Unscripted Productions. I think
that's right. Yeah, that's right. You got it. Don't lose the. Yes, I did. Don't lose the confidence. You have all the script. Don't worry. It's all good.
And it just went down the toilet. Welcome to the show, Philip Parker.
Thank you for having me, Mike. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. What you do is awesome, so I'm excited to be part of it.
Oh, I really appreciate that, Philip. I mean, and a lot of my guests, they are usually coming at kindness from one side or the other, right? They're either receiving it or they're giving it. You are actively
trying to do both.
Sides.
Yes. yes. It's been a journey. I'm not going to lie to you, because that would be rude. But it's very refreshing to find that humanity is not lost. And over the last 4 or 5 years of my life, I've been graced with kindness, and it just continues. And I think it's who you surround yourself with and who you allow yourself to be around, I guess, is the best way to put that.
Yeah, the last 4 or 5 years of all of our lives have been a little weird, haven't they? Been.
Yeah, a little turbulent, you know. We won't mention why, because it never stops being talked about. But you know, it's one of those things. We got through it as a nation, as the world, and we learned a little bit about ourselves from it, I think. So that's always fun.
Yeah,
it's always fun.
Sure. As a matter of fact, I learned how to podcast during that time.
Right. Right. That's kind of where I started.
Okay, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. The audience will be the judge of that. Really? Do you think you did, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You know what? We there's always a learning curve, but I think your shows are very enlightening, and it's something different to highlight a specific trait in human, I guess, culture, and kindness is something that we don't focus on enough. You know, it's as simple as holding a door. I mean, that's called generally manners, but you know, I think we've just forgotten our social abilities, and kindness is, believe it or not, a social ability. So
Yeah, but you brought up something when you were first talking about how showing the world that there are still kind people out there, or worse than that, in
Right,
fact, right?
right,
Because there
right.
are, and I think we forget that sometimes.
Yeah, you see, I think social media, general media, unfortunately just paints a very dire picture for everyone where it's like apocalypse now and oh my gosh, don't go outside and people are evil and all this kind of stuff. And reality is that um, it's as simple as, you don't have to be religious, but like I had Mormons come to my door and I let them in. I had a conversation with them. They're just generally nice people. You don't have to slam a door on somebody. You can be courteous. You can be polite. They're just out, doing their faith thing. Everyone is entitled to it. But I think people just forget all that stuff. It's just social interaction has been a forgotten skill, and I've been lucky and fortunate enough in the beginning of all of this during COVID. I had my neighbor put me up with my ex-wife now, but and my young son, and it's things like that. It's all of these things um, as they collectively come together. Now, somebody's going to be sitting around a table right now listening to this podcast, and they're going to be like, "Man, why don't I see any kindness?" And it's like, you know what? I hate to call it out, but you get what you give a lot of times in life. And
So true.
I try and push into the ethos that I am a good person. Unfortunately, I have my failings, like all of us. Nobody's perfect, but that's why the podcasting became a thing for me. I started the Unscripted Perspective initially, and it was just learning about different perspectives, people's unique traits. Like I would have had you on just to learn about why did you start the Kindness Podcast, like that kind of stuff. Just highlighting people's uniqueness and all of that, and it just kind of spurred on from there. I did a music podcast, and we're going to talk about Rory's stories as well, and then I think the biggest one for me recently was my mental health podcast. And that's really the thing that I focused on recently, just because mental health is such a huge thing. And as you aptly put, you can put a post on Facebook and have thousands of life coaches and people that want to help you mentally. So I said, well, if there's an abundance of people out there that want to help, I want to be the tool, I guess, to allow that to happen.
Yeah. So, okay. So your podcasts, the Unscripted Perspective is one.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Um, you were talking about music. You started another one called Untouched Melodies.
That's correct. Yeah, that's a live. So I've kind of moved from audio to live streaming, just to kind of get the interaction of the audience. It's a little bit more fun. I dare to be different, much to my chagrin in the beginning, because things crash and computers fall apart and streams just die and stuff. But we figured it out, and I think it just adds to the authenticity of a chat. Like I don't do a scripted chat at all. It's just not. It's not part of. I feel like the most enjoyable podcasts I've listened to have not been scripted. So I think that's just kind of how I go with that.
So Untouched Melodies. Now that was showcasing what?
Just in. Yeah. Essentially, I went on Spotify one day, and there's a bunch of musicians that I was like, "What? Why are they only like at 1,000 followers or 50 followers or listeners or whatever?" And so I reached out, and I got them to come on the podcast, and then it just kind of spurred from there. They told their friends, their artists, and all that, and it just kept going. I had musicians on the Unscripted Perspective as well, but I think kind of really just focusing on one topic allows my audience and listeners to kind of just really separate the stuff, what they want to listen to, I guess, from what's out there. Because, as you said, I've had life coaches, I've had paranormal investigators, I've had all this stuff, and some people just aren't interested in that. So it allows people to just kind of really focus in on what they want to listen to.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of I mean, you're basically helping them to get a wider audience, and that seems darn kind to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Just saying. Um, yeah, because yeah, you think about the artists. You see all the artists, right? But you're only seeing the ones or hearing the ones that show up on your radio. Or
Yeah.
okay, that's kind of old fashioned, but you know, in your
Well, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, let's call it what it is. You can be an artist now by just having a YouTube account. So I think it's really I guess important when you find that talent. You know, it's not just American Idol and AGT and all these other talent shows. Um, there are some really great artists out there that haven't been discovered, and so I'm not going to pretend that I'm this amazing guy that can find great music, but I enjoy meeting people. I think podcasting is a great medium for that, and if they get one or two followers out of my show, it's a win for them because they've grown their audience, and they use all of the clips and stuff that I make. They can use it for promotion, and they have done. In fact, there's one where I'm I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm not happy, but it's just it's chopped up and kind of remixed, and I have a really weird looking face in there. But hey, I allow it. It's all fun. It
yeah,
incredibly enough, Rory loved one of the tracks that got a Grammy nomination, and he loved it so much he was dancing around the kitchen, and I filmed him dancing around the kitchen singing the song, and that was a TikTok post. They asked if they could use it, and it went viral on TikTok. So
nice.
his claim to fame began a little earlier than I anticipated.
Yeah, wow, no kidding. Yeah, I never expected my son to go viral at 3, 4, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Yeah, and you do. I see so many artists on TikTok, and they're just like like share
Yeah.
that you do on TikTok.
Yeah, it's a different world out there
I
now.
know
It's
exactly.
it's very different now. It's like you. I was watching Ray the other day. A great movie if anyone hasn't seen it. But
Rachel.
like back in the old days, like it was about getting airplay and getting on the radio and stuff. Now it's about TikTok followers and all this kind of stuff. So it's a different world. And while yes, Spotify has changed the dynamic, and some would argue that they've you know ruined the ethos a little bit because of how easily accessed and how little they pay or whatever. But the reality is they've actually broken down the barriers as well. So like I actually have written and produced music and put it on Spotify, and it's a great medium. And I believe that with AI now being a huge thing, you're just going to see more and more. You don't have to even sing anymore. You can go in and make your voice sound like whoever you want. Write a song, and they'll do it for you. It's just crazy.
No
You know,
way.
it's out of a science fiction movie. It's crazy stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, back to Ray for a second. That was you had you know 100 copies of your song on reel to reel probably
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
around to radio stations all over the country, just saying, please give this a listen.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
later it became a little easier because you do cassette tapes, but
Yeah.
that was very much the same. The thing back then, that was how you got noticed, how you got on the air, how you got played.
Yeah. You'd go in and you'd have a chat with the DJ and stuff. It wasn't like you could just phone it in as they do now, but like you literally had to go in and almost sing live a lot of the time in certain aspects. So yeah, look, music has evolved in such a great way. And
Agreed.
in 10 or 15 years something else is going to happen, and then they're going to be whining that happened. And it's just, change is not easy to embrace for some people, but talent is never really it's you can't ignore talent.
No.
I if you couldn't write a song, your song wouldn't make it on the radio. Your song wouldn't get noticed. If you couldn't sing, it used to be that you wouldn't get noticed. But now, if you can write an amazing song, put it through AI, and all of a sudden your song is content. So I think it's something good. I actually was chatting with some more I would say visitors, but they're like religious visitors. Let's call them that. Okay, and I was telling them that, hey, you should probably like make some stuff, and they had me write some kind of music, faith music, and it was great. It was a really different experience, but also it just shows that you can do anything if you put your mind to it, and so. We've really gone off onto the. Say that again.
Yeah, we're out in the weeds now, but it's fine. You wrote them jingles or what?
No, actual songs. They were legitimate songs. Yeah.
Okay.
So, for those not trying to plug anything, but there's a lot of AI apps, and I connected with Timbaland on his Instagram, and we're not like friends or anything, but like he was doing a live stream, and I was going, hey, what's this Suno thing? And he was telling his followers all about it. And he just pushed that, hey, it's a great tool. You should try it out. And so I did. And it's incredible. You pump in your own vocals if you want. You can toy with your own vocals. You can make it sound however you wish. You can put in what you want it to sound like. And you might take 15 times like generating all the audio, but you can clip it and really edit it. And that's where the fun is. You make something amazing and you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. It's just crazy.
So it's like you lay down the vocals and you go, what this part needs is horns. So you lay in some horns.
Exactly. So yeah, it is. It's fun. Definitely fun.
Okay. So you mentioned your son, Rory, and this is one of the nicest stories I think I've ever heard, ever. And it goes to how you are and how you're raising your kid too, I think.
I appreciate that. Rory's my little boy, and at 4 years of age, he came to me during COVID, and it was in Ireland at the time. We're actually in Ireland for COVID because I was trying to take care of my parents and kind of get them through a tough time. And he came home from, I guess they call it preschool here, play school over there, whatever it is. And he was kind of upset. He was just like, my friends don't get stories read to them at bedtime. And so, backstory, we always read a story at bedtime. It's just a practice in our house. We always do that. And even do the 25 calendar books for run up to Christmas. So it's like, exactly. So we collect books throughout the year, and then Christmas books or whatever, and then we read them on the run up to Christmas, and then the night before Christmas on Christmas Eve. So it's just been a practice that we've done. And honestly, he came to me. He was just upset, and he wanted me to fix this. Because parents don't always have time. It's not a dig or anything. It's just something that happens. And honestly, I did not know what to do until he said a podcast. And when you hear things coming out of the from the from the mouths of babes, like, well, he knew I was doing podcasting. He knew that I couldn't, he wasn't allowed in the room when I was doing some certain interviews and things like that, right? And of course, I use the Rodecaster Pro, so it's like a deck, I guess you could call it, and there's all buttons and stuff. So he knew somewhat about podcasting, and when he said a podcast, it was like, oh, maybe that might work. And so I decided to kind of check it out. I went on Facebook, looked up groups, independent kind of authors, children's authors, and then just made a post. And so many people are interested. And so we have like 6 or 7 episodes, but basically he sat down with me. We recorded his little intro and outro. And then he picked out a little jingle as well. And so we called it Rory Stories. And then another amazing artist, graphic artist, actually based in Indonesia, of all places. Facebook is amazing, but anyway, he kind of saw what we were doing, and he was like, "I'd love to contribute. I just don't know how." And I was like, "What about doing like a little cover art for the podcast?" And he did, and oh my gosh, like couldn't have done a better job. And so, yeah, it's something that I really need to push a little bit more. Since then, we've met people from United Way. If you're not familiar with them, they're a charity organization, and they want to be part of this as well. So um, these artists, I encourage them to send the actual books, the hard copies of the books. So we have quite a few hard copies, and as these are read, once it's finished, they're going to be donated to United Way, and they're going to choose where they go to. Um, and they will be donated in his name. And so when he gets older, he can say, "Hey, I was part of something amazing." And on top of that, um, you know, kind of selfishly, I when he has girlfriends come around for the first time, most people have like photos of them in the bath and stuff. I have a podcast that's immortalized on all of podcasting mediums across the world. So I'm going to enjoy that immensely. But he's also incredibly cute. Dad of the year, yeah.
Oh, that's cute. You've got photographs of your kid naked in the bathtub. Listen to this.
Boom. Yeah, look at that. And so yeah, it's yeah, mic drop. And to be honest with you, it's been enlightening to me. Just we talked about the fact that I'm recently separated from my wife, and it's been really testing on me and the kids and everything. And but I will say this, like, even though myself and herself are not seeing eye to eye, there's a lot of arguments. One thing is true. One thing stays true, which is our desire to make sure the kids feel loved. And that shows through when I hear him say things like, I want to help people, or I want to, like, he got recognized in his school for being the one to find someone who's lonely and needs a friend, because he's social butterfly, he's just one of those kids. So it's amazing. Now, we'll always have disagreements amongst adults when relationships end, but I will never ever ever put her down as a mom. And I think that is something that we will always agree on, which is that our kids are loved. We're very 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 lucky. They're just loving little kids, and the kindness that we've received and shown them. Like, he says goodbye at the supermarket, like to the checker. Yeah, it's habitual. Like, what do you say? Oh, thank you, goodbye. And it's just, now he does it all the time. One day he turned to me and he goes, "I don't think he was having a good day, Daddy." I was like, "Why? He didn't say goodbye." I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "You're not wrong. You're not wrong."
So funny. Similar thing. We have my grandson. He'll be 3 in November, and
Great age. So much fun. My little girl is 3, and she is sass in yeah, just personified. Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
but we had the whole family over. The whole family. We had the 2 boys over and their spouses or partners, or whatever, and then my grandson, of course. And our youngest had to leave first, and as he and his partner were leaving, out of nowhere, no prompting, "Happy Easter."
I know, right?
Hi. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, kids are so perceptive. Mike, honestly, it's one of those things that it's sobering as an adult when you see kids just, and you realize, they're seeing that somewhere, and you hope and you pray that it's you. But like, in all fairness, kids are like glued to electronic devices now. They're watching YouTube, they're watching Bluey, they're watching all these different social contributors on YouTube and whatever else. And while there's a play that, you don't want them seeing too much of that, like my kids have learned so much from that. My little boy now knows how to voice search on YouTube, and if he wants to learn about volcanoes, he goes in and he looks up volcanoes and he watches videos, he watches earthquakes, he loves all that natural disaster stuff. And when we were, yes, sure. um, but the other thing as well is, when I walked in and he was searching divorce because he didn't understand, and so like that in itself, you know, it actually ended up being something that was very useful for him, and made me realize that, we take for granted sometimes that kids are. You say, oh no, they don't understand. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They see kindness everywhere, and they try and they try and emulate what you're doing. And back to the fact that we're talking about kindness here, like the reality is that I don't want to breed people that are not kind. I don't want to raise people that are not kind. You want, there's going to be people out there that are just not nice. It's just they're grumpy, But like I said to you before we started, my mantra now is a Ted Lasso classic, because if you watch that show, it's huge. But also Walt Whitman quote. It's be curious, not judgmental, and it's actually guided me through some pretty precarious situations where normally I would just get hot. It's easy to just judge. It's easy. It's easy to just be like, oh, that guy is such an beep. Um, uh, yes, no, there's no grace anymore, and I feel like we just need to get back to that. And be curious, not judgmental, is a great thing. There's other, if you're not religious, that's an amazing quote to go with. If not, then what would Jesus do, or whatever your religion is. It's just get back to basic human kindness. It's such a foreign entity right now, and it's like, just be good to each other. Like, is it that difficult? Like, it seems like it is, but I don't get into politics, and I don't get all that bent out of shape about stuff. It doesn't matter what president we have. It doesn't matter who's in power. It doesn't matter. None of that matters, because whoever it is one person. I always say, control your controllables, right? You can't control who's in power now. He's been voted in, right? However upset you are or not, right? But you can control what you do. You can control how you lead your life. And so instead of sitting there bitching about all the bad things that have happened, lead by example. Like, just go out there and lead with kindness, lead with grace.
It's so easy to get caught up in the, oh, well, this is going to happen. And let's be fair.
The conspiracy theorists are going to be sitting there. Yeah, exactly. The conspiracy theorists are going to be sitting there and just giving out all the stuff. Oh, yeah,
The weather.
Lasers are going to come out of his eyes and everyone's going to die. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, just chill. Like, this is the world we live in now. And if you think America is alone in that, you're wrong. Go turn on the news, preferably BBC, because it's less there's no sides to it. You get data. You know what I mean?
I love that. And I have two sources for news, and neither. Well, I don't know, but I was going to say neither of them American. AP.
Yes.
And The Independent.
There you go. But
you want real news, no blah blah.
Yeah, well, it's no secret that these channels are funded and owned by people who have political beliefs, right? The BBC is owned and run by the government in England, so their pride is on just giving impartial news. And so, if I want to sit down and find out what is actually happening, that's what I watch. But regardless of that, like, it doesn't matter what's happening in the world. You can control. Look what happened during COVID. look, all the stuff. We wouldn't have gotten out of it if it wasn't for the kindness of the people, like those amazing people in medicine, those amazing people who took the risk of going to work every day. When you have some people who are upset because they have to get up for work to go to be a barista. I mean, like, just sometimes you just gotta
Really ran into the fire.
Yes, 100%, 100%. But anyway, I digress. Kindness is the way to live, and honestly, I absolutely love what you do. I love the podcast. I love what you're putting out into the world, and I think more and more people need to just take note and take example and take kind of solace in the fact that there are people like Mike out there, and there are people that want to be kind, that want to highlight that there is kindness still out there. Whether it's a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old that wants to make a podcast, or whether it's just cheering on someone who has Down syndrome, who got a job at Walmart and is moving carts around, and just being kind and showing that you appreciate them. Whatever your kindness looks like, it doesn't go unnoticed at all.
Yes. No.
So,
and you might think it does, but it doesn't. I love that. Yeah, that 30 minutes that you just spent doom scrolling while you were listening to this podcast, you could have been out volunteering in an animal shelter.
Exactly.
Kitchen, and actually making a positive difference in the world.
100%. 100%.
But you should still be listening to the podcast.
100%. Yeah, I mean, Mike is look, I came on this podcast because Mike resonated with me hugely. We connected on Facebook, and I want everyone to realize that this is not an easy game to be in, and it isn't fruitful in any way, shape, or form. It's not like we get paid a bunch of money. We like creating content, and Mike is one of those people, and I'm very, very, very blessed and grateful to be on the show, and I appreciate everything that you do, Mike, and I hope that we can get this lovely show back up at the top of the charts or whatever it needs to be, so people can hear more about kindness, because I think it's something that definitely needs to be promoted a lot more.
Wow. Thank you, Phil. I really appreciate that, and we're going to listen for your stuff too.
I appreciate it.
So much for your time, Phil. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Thanks to everyone for listening. Keep listening to Mike. Yeah, that's it.
Wrap. Sorry. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Have a good day. Phil, we will be in touch.
Thanks a lot.
I want to thank you for taking this time to listen to this episode with my guest, Philip Parker. The world needs more Philip Parkers, and it needs more people like you, folks who appreciate kindness and want to learn more about it and learn about people who are being kind. And, I just hope that you're able to take something positive from the time that you spend here with us today. Maybe you'll be inspired. Maybe you'll be motivated. Maybe you'll be moved. If you experienced any of those positive feelings, please consider sharing this podcast with your friends and family. And I'm always trying to offer you a better podcast, so give me some feedback. Let me know how you think I'm doing. Email me, leave me a message on my socials, leave me a message wherever you listen to this podcast. It would mean the world to me, and it would also help make a better podcast, I hope. Also, feel free to follow us on our socials like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. This podcast is part of the Mayday Media Network. If you have an idea for a podcast and need some production assistance, or you already have a podcast and are looking for a supportive network to join, check out MaydayMediaNetwork.com. Then check out the many different shows like Afrocentric, Spoil My Movie, Generation Mixtape, In a Pickle Radio Show, Wake Up and Dream with D. Anthony Palin, Stacks of Packs, and the Time Pals. We will be back again next week with a brand new episode, and we would be honored if you would join us. You've been listening to the Kindness Matters podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rathbun. Have a fantastic week.